Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. You're probably wondering why I don't have much clothes on. I'm going to start my 5-day, $5 solo survival experience. I've taken $5. I went to a local Dollar Tree and I purchased 5 items for $5 for me to live for 5 days. I'm gonna jump on the scale right now in just my shorts, no shoes, fully hydrated on day one. We're gonna see what my weigh-in weight is. And at the end of this challenge, we're gonna step on the scale again and see what I'm looking like after 5 days. 188.8. Let me try it again. 188.8, and let's do it a third time for good measure. 189.0. So I'll take the 188.8. I'll write that down, and here's what that looks like. 188.8. 188.8. So that's what my body looks like. In my bag I have a lot of provisions to survive that will not be used in this challenge, in this experience. I have food, I have water, I have an extra pot, fuel, a stove, clothing, bedroll, shelter, fire making, first aid, paracord, you name it, I have it in this bag. Now the rule of this bag is the same rule that it's always been, and that is if I get into this bag, I will share it on camera. Inside of this bag, there are 2 small 5-liter dry bags. Those 2 bags contain the items that I will use in this challenge. And I will show you those items when I get to a spot where I feel is going to be a good place to set up. Now I'm walking in a riverbed right now, and as you can see, this riverbed is fairly dry. I was hoping to have flowing water, but I'm not seeing that, and I'm a little frustrated about that because water is crucial for survival. I'm actually kind of surprised that there's no flowing water out here. Slip and fall. Crazy. So it looks like I have some water here and there, so that's good. It's not flowing, but at least I have something to stay hydrated with. And hydration on this challenge is crucial because temperatures are supposed to climb throughout the week, and by Friday we're going to be in the high 90s, if not the triple digits. So hydration is going to be a big thing in this challenge. That's what I'm going to be drinking. It doesn't look very pleasant. It's stagnant type water, but it is what it is. This is a survival challenge. Looking right there, I see some tracks. They're a little bit old, but it kind of looks like maybe a porcupine. I'm not quite sure, but I'll be definitely keeping out an eye for that guy. I'm not quite sure what kind of animal that is. I think I found a good area where I can hunker down, and it's behind you. There's some nice cottonwood trees over there. Right there, those guys. I think that's where I'm headed. This might be a good spot. With the temperatures rising throughout the week, I think that being in the shade will play a good part. You know, I think that's going to help out quite a bit. Being in the shade is going to be a good thing. So that's where I'm headed. This looks like a pretty good spot. I like it. Yeah, I think this will do. This is gonna be my place for the next 5 days, and I'm excited about it. The stuff that I will use in this video is contained in these 2 dry bags. This is the stuff I'm gonna use to survive for 5 days. Okay, let me show you the 2 bags and show you what items are in these 2 bags. There's one exception. There's one item that didn't fit in this bag that is included. It was a larger item, so I had to put it in my pack. So the first item was this. This was cranberry juice. This is 46 fluid ounces, and this has a total of 6 servings per container, so they're 8-ounce servings, and each serving is 130 calories. So I felt that this was a good item to bring on this challenge. Again, all this stuff that's in this blue bag was purchased at Dollar Tree. Here's a copy of my receipt. As you can see, it was exactly $5. Now the last item that you see here, it says Snickers, but I traded the Snickers in for a single bottle of Gatorade, 32 ounces. These were also $1. So even though the receipt says Snickers, Snickers are at home with the kids, and I swapped it out for this. It was the same price. So that's my second item. My third item was 1 pound of pinto beans. Now my pinto beans has about 10 servings in this bag. If you consider each serving 1/4 of a cup dry, you can get 170 calories per serving. So beans are very good, they're cheap, and they do a lot for you. They also have protein here. I was looking at it earlier. Where was that? Total fat 1%, saturated fat 0, cholesterol 0, sodium 0, carbohydrates 11%, dietary fiber 27%, protein 10 grams. So the beans, that's my third item. Fourth item was 2 pounds of white rice. Now it says that there's 20 servings in this package, and they're also 1/4 of a cup servings. Each serving is 154 calories. So that's pretty crazy. Total fat 0, saturated fat 0, trans fat 0, cholesterol 0, sodium 0. Carbohydrates 13% or 36 grams. Dietary fiber 1 gram. Sugar 0. Protein 3 grams. So rice is a good staple. It's cheap also, just like the beans. And the last item that I had was beef top ramen. There are 5 packs in here. 5 days, 5 packs of ramen. So that right there is what I spent my $5 on at the Dollar Tree. So that's the end of this bag. There's nothing left in this bag. That's what I'm going to be surviving on. And to get the party started right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and take a drink of this Gatorade. if you look at the nutritional facts of Gatorade, 2.5 servings per container, 12 ounces a serving size. But this is a 32-ounce bottle. And it says per container, if I was to drink this whole thing, 220 calories, 0 fat, 19% sodium, carbs 21%, sugars 110%. And it has 0 protein, but it does have 120 milligrams of potassium. So this is good. I thought I heard a hummingbird. Yep, there he goes. So the next bag is the 5 C's basically. 5 days, $5, 5 C's. So my first item is my cutting tool. I have 2 of them. I have a Baco Laplander saw, and I have a Condor pterosaur knife. That's my first cutting tool. So this is my first item that I'm going to be using for this challenge. On the side of my Baco, you can see that I have a bow drill divot that I've drilled. I use that for friction fire. So that's my first tool. Second one, cover. This is 2 mil drop cloth. This is a used drop cloth. This is 9 foot by 12 foot. It's got paint on it, it's got epoxy on it, but it's 2 mil thick. It's got a little bit of holes in it, dings and rips and stuff, but this is what I chose for this challenge. Third item, again in no particular order, cordage. This is tarred bank line. This is not number 36. This is like number 18 or number 15. It's very light, very thin. But I figured that this would be a good item for this challenge because I have a lot of it here. I did bring a light my fire eating tool. Not really included as an item, but I brought that. And the last one is my container. And in the container, this has my combustion devices. So I have a solar Fresnel lens, and I also have the lightning strike here. So two forms of combustion. So cutting tool, combustion, cover, container, cordage. I have a candling device here. This is the Olight H1R. Cotton bandanas. And I have a shima. This is a 1-liter pot. It has a little bowl that fits in there, and it has a lid. This is the zebra pot. So these items that you see right here is everything that I will be using in this video. That's it. I'm reading the nutrition facts of the ramen, and it says serving size 1 package. Okay, so each package contains 380 calories. Total fat 18% or 14 grams, saturated fat 7 grams or 33%, trans fat 0, no cholesterol, sodium 58%. That's probably in those bouillon packets. That's 1,330 milligrams. Total carbohydrates 54 grams or 20%, dietary fiber 2 grams or 6%, protein 9 grams. So that's pretty cool. And there's actually iron in here, 3.4 milligrams of iron, 20%. And also potassium, 170 milligrams, 4%. So that's what I'm going to get out of the beef ramen. Pretty crazy. So now it's time to take a look and see where I want to put my site. Where do I want to put my shelter? I want to make sure that there's no widowmakers. I want to be protected from the wind. I want to have a water source. So I'm going to kind of scout this area out and see where the best spot would be. I honestly think that it's right here where I'm at. So with water being such a crucial thing in this challenge, being in the Southwest and with temperatures rising, in my opinion, at this point, water is more important than shelter. I have plenty of coverage in those cottonwood trees, but hydration's a big factor. So I'm taking both of these 5-liter dry bags and I'm going for a little hike in hopes that I can find some better source water. I went down a little embankment kind of like this, and with these shoes on, this mud is really slippery, and I slipped and fell right to my butt. Got mud on my butt. So I want to ask you guys, please hit that thumb up button, because I'm out here earning this for real, for you guys' entertainment. Please share the video, make it worth my while. But I'm still walking. I did find one source of water that was a larger pool, which looked promising, because a larger body of water, even though it was still nasty, it was more diluted, so it was less nasty than the water that was by my camp. Haven't found nothing yet. Still bone dry as far as I can see. Who knows, maybe I'll get lucky though. Well, I just got back from my recon. I went about 2 miles. I did find a much better water source. The water was a lot cleaner, it was flowing, it didn't have any odor. It looked like good water, probably gonna taste a lot better. So that leaves me to some thinking. Now, I would have documented that water, but my battery died on my camera and I wasn't able to put another battery in until I got back here. We're on day 1 of a 5-day challenge, a 5-day simulated survival situation. Do I want to expend calories to travel, you know, to move, to get a better water source and lose this wooded canopy, or do I stay put? So that leaves me something to think about. Here in the Southwest, as these days into this challenge go further towards Friday, it's gonna get hotter every day. The importance of a wooded canopy and being in shade, I feel, is gonna be an important thing. Now let me be brutally honest with you about 2 things. Number 1, when it comes to water and it comes to survival, odor and taste of the water is not a necessity. That's a luxury. When you have good tasting clear water, that's a luxury. It's not a necessity to survival. And number 2, in my pack, in my emergency gear, I have a bee-free water filter. That is a hollow fiber membrane that will remove all the particulars out of that water, making it safe to drink. But it doesn't remove odor, it doesn't remove taste, it just makes it safe. So in a nutshell, it kind of does the same thing as just boiling the nasty water. You're still gonna have odor, you're still gonna have taste that's gonna be unpleasant. But to keep you alive, again, that is a luxury. So do I pack and go, or do I stay put? Now I've made my decision. It's very simple. I'm gonna stay put for a couple of reasons. I have cottonwood trees here. Even though I have a lightning strike in there, a very easy way to make fire, this survival challenge, I would like to attempt friction fire. I won't be able to do that if I expend the calories and move. I'll be more tired when I get there because I'm carrying a heavy pack with all kinds of gear, and I would lose the ability to potentially make friction fire unless I take a set, you know, and some materials before I go. But I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna attempt to make a friction fire. My goal is to go down to the source and maybe expend a little bit of calories to dig next to the water source, maybe 6 to 10 feet away, in hopes that that water will seep in like an Egyptian well or a coyote well, and the earth will help reduce some of that odor, some of that taste, and then that water that I extract can be boiled and then taste a little bit better than the water that it came from. So that's my decision. So the next order of business for me is to find materials that are everywhere here to make friction fire. I'm not worried about a shelter right now because my plastic can go into a plow point. There's plenty of trees and stuff that I can tie off to, and that shelter could go up in 5 minutes. I'm not at risk of any kind of rain or anything like that. The temperatures are going to be in the 40s tonight, so that gives me the option of putting fire higher on the priority list. Because I went on that hike, that recon, I am a little bit thirsty, so I'm going to get fire so that I can purify water. I found a couple things here on the floor, on the ground. I found this piece of salt cedar that I had cut probably a year or two ago, and this will be a good baton. I also found a piece of cottonwood that I think I can make a good hearth out of without doing a lot of work. And up behind me, up here, there's a branch sticking up that I think will make a good drill. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that and get working on this set. So I want to do a friction fire with a different kind of method, and the method that I want to use a weighted object, something like this. So I want to put the hearth next to a tree, kind of dig a little trench maybe, and have something like this going on. But what I need is I need to keep the tree, the weighted object, close to the tree. So I've cut this little wedge here that I'm gonna drive into the ground against this piece so that it will keep this thing going down right here, and it'll keep everything nice and tight. So I'm just driving this down. Something like this. And then I have a small piece of string right here that I'm going to use to shore this up so that this piece can't get out of this area. Okay, so I'm going to shore this up, and I don't want it to be so tight where this thing can't fall freely. I want it to be able to fall nice and easy, which I believe I have that here. This thing will fall. So I want it to sit on my drill. So let me go ahead and tie this up real quick. Something like that. Just using a square knot here on the back side. And how does that look? Looks pretty good. It gives it a little bit of play, but not too much. Cottonwood bark, inner bark, is really good tinder material. And I have a nice tinder bundle already. And it didn't take me much. It's already pretty well self-made. So that's the beauty of it. Inner cottonwood bark. This stuff right here. That stuff is good, good, good. So I'm pulling that out, getting my set ready. All my components, my smalls, my set. This is gonna work very, very good. That's good stuff right there. Look at all those fibers. So I'll drop my ember right in there and we'll be good to go. There you have it. There's your ember. Nice ember. Yay, I have fire. I'm happy. Took a little bit of work to get that to happen. But I'm very happy about that. I'm happy I got fire on night number 1 on day 1. Yes. That's a beautiful feeling. I'm so happy because this took a little bit of work and a little bit of effort. But hard work pays off. That string is awfully thin and I didn't think it would work, but it worked like a champ. Worked really good. I'm so happy right now. There's a little bit. Now I can get some hydration going on. I'm not worried about digging a coyote well just yet. I'm more worried about getting hydrated. And the pool that I got the water from just now doesn't look all that bad. Time to get some water purifying. I'm thirsty. This water doesn't look too bad from the source that I got it at. We'll see what happens. This pot is about 1 liter, so I'll have to drink at least 3 of those per day to stay fully hydrated. Yeah, it stinks a little bit, but it is what it is. Thank goodness for these dry bags. Makes it easy to bring water. Then I don't have to go there all the time. Yeah, it's not that far anyway, but still makes it convenient because I can store the water at camp. So as I wait for my water to come to a boil, which I'm very patient about, I'm going to take a walk and try to get some tent stakes so that I can put my shelter up. So the wood that I'm going to use is tamarack or salt cedar. It's a really good wood. It's pretty straight and it's a hardwood. I don't need anything real thick. I think this will make 3 perfect tent stakes. In this area, these things grow like weeds, literally. So I'm going to cut this at an angle. That'll give me a nice little angle to drive that guy in. And then it'll also give the next stake an angle. And then over here, on this piece, I'll do like a little 7-notch. Something that I can tie into. Just something like that. Nothing too crazy, it's pretty simple. Just homemade stakes. Something sharp that'll go in the ground and something that I can tie off to. That's all I need. Nothing crazy. So I figure I'll get 3 of these guys, make a mark here where I need to cut. Well, that looks like a rolling boil to me. That water is ready to go. Now I let it cool and I can hydrate. Okay, let me show you how I'm doing these corners. So, first thing I'm doing is I'm clearing the area, taking my string, and on the end here where the 2 pieces are, I'm just tying an overhand knot, just like that. And then on this end, I'm making a lark's foot. So it looks like that, right? So that'll go around an object and it'll tighten up, just like that. So here, because there's no grommets on the tarp, I'm making external grommets. So I'm taking a small handful of sand, putting it on the top of the tarp, and then I'm coming underneath, getting that sand into a ball. And then I place the lark's foot, or the lark's head, over the ball. Place the cord that I made, the tie out, into my tent stake, and then stake it down accordingly. So in our case, it'll be about right there. Something like that. That now gives me a shelter for the night. If I want to improve the bottom area right here and not have wind coming under it, and just throw dirt over it, this will do 2 things. It'll keep wind from coming in, which will make me cold, and it'll also keep insects and things like that from crawling in from the sides. And it keeps airflow to a minimum inside, and no creepy crawlies. I'm just going to remove any leftover debris that's left in here. But you can see that this gives me plenty of coverage, and I didn't even extend this plastic out to its full length. I had done it in half. There's not any rain in the forecast, so I don't need like massive amount of protection. And this is a perfect summertime shelter. Okay, now it's the moment of truth. I want to give this water a try. Now, one of the reasons why I like the zebra pot so much is because it comes with this little inner pot, this little pan type pot. I had to let this stuff sit for quite a while because the water was hot. So I got that nice and clean. Don't really have a viable way of pouring it through this. So what I'm going to try, because I want to get the debris out of the water, that's why I want to do this. So I'm just going to set this up here for just a second. I'm going to just drape my bandana right over the pot, just like this, all the way around the bottom. And I'm hoping that any debris or anything that might have been in the water will get caught here. Okay, we'll stop there for a second because I really need to hydrate up. Still warm. It doesn't seem bad as far as temperature, taste, and odor. Not good. I can't really describe it. It's not mountain spring water, I'll tell you that much. But I need to stay hydrated. Yeah, that's going to take some getting used to, definitely. Kind of nasty, to be honest with you. So tomorrow there might be a water filter in the works. I think I'll need that. But for tonight, this is what I'm going to deal with. I need to hydrate because I did a lot of things today. Went for a little recon, went for a hike, went and looked at another water source not far from here, and I saw something that kind of disturbed me. There was a dead animal in the water source. And at first I thought it was a jackrabbit, but it ended up not being a jackrabbit. I don't think. It was a white colored animal, maybe a dog or a cat or something. I don't know. It's kind of nasty. That just goes to show you the importance of purifying your water. Well, it's campfire confession time. Folks, I got in the emergency bag. I wanted a second headlamp. So I got out my Perrin. Got my Perrin out. I wanted to have my H1R used as a filming kind of light for that last shot. I had it in a tree back there. You can see my shelter off in the distance, hopefully. But I had that in a tree. There's my setup over there. But I wanted to have a secondary headlamp, so I took the Perrin out. So I'm just letting you guys know this campfire is beautiful. I'm loving life. You know, getting back to the water, I kind of made it sound probably worse than it was. It really wasn't that bad. It was not good. It was kind of nasty, but I've had worse. And when it comes to things like that, once the water's purified, it really comes down to just getting it down the hatch. You know, you've purified the water, you know that it's safe, you boiled it, just get it down the hatch. And that's what I did. So I feel great, I'm fully hydrated. The water wasn't great, but again, it could have been a lot worse. At least I have water to hydrate with. So I'm gonna relax. I got my coat on not because it's cold. The temperatures are actually really, really nice right now. But I put my coat on because I'm getting ready to go lay down. I'm gonna use my chamois as like kind of a blanket. I'm gonna put my bandana around my neck. I got my hat on, again, not because it's cold, but because I'm gonna lay down and I don't want sand in my ears. I don't want, you know, bugs or something trying to crawl in my ears and things like that. So that's why I have my hat on, bandana around the neck, chamois maybe over me or something like that. So I'm gonna get off to bed and we'll see you guys in the morning. Day 1 is in the books. Bye for now.